I guess we're ready to go. Good evening, everyone. Certainly a pleasure to welcome you to the Benton Town Council meeting for this Tuesday, February 6th. Certainly appreciate all you folks being here. And we use the moment of silence here at the town of Benton so that everyone can pray or meditate as they see fit. So in a minute, I'll ask you to stand for that. And while we're standing, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. Which of the council members going to do that tonight? The vice mayor is going to do that. He'll lead us in the
I'm going
Pledge
to
of
say aye,
Allegiance.
y'all join in.
Okay, we do that. We'll do that.
So if you want to stand for the moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance, we'd appreciate it.
Next flag, please. Pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States, and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I guess we should start with the roll call, right?
Councilmember Lyles, Councilmember McCarty.
Here.
Councilmember Mullins.
Here.
Vice Mayor Stovall.
Here.
Mayor Gross.
Here. I have figured up the other day, I've conducted over 500 of these meetings now. Haven't gotten one right yet. So I forgot the roll call. So we got good people to help me out, and I'm so thankful for that. Next item is request to postpone or change the order of agenda. Nothing? If there are no requests, we will move on to the consent agenda. What's that?
Go back.
Go back.
That's okay. The only thing I have is,
Well, I have stuff to say.
oh, I'm sorry.
She's got some stuff. Do you have anything?
I have one thing I'm going to say before Lori
I'm
gets
really
here.
blowing it tonight. Sorry about
Sorry, no worries. February the 19th, the town offices will be closed in observance of President's Day. And of course, as usual, we encourage you to visit one of the many restaurants and entertainment venues in our community. And you can always go to the venue's website, and it's on social media. And for everything happening in Benton, please visit the Benton Facebook page, and don't forget to like and share. That's all.
that. All right. Thank you very much. Like I say, folks, I've already blown it tonight. It's usually not this bad, but we
We're
won't.
not used to having this many people.
That's true. I get excited around this many people. So, Lori, we won't skip over you. You got some good stuff there?
I've got a few council activities since our last meeting. On January 25th, council attended the Chamber's Member and Sponsor Appreciation Night at the Benton War Memorial. Casino night was wonderful. Also, on January 25th, Vice Mayor Stovall attended the Roanoke Valley Transportation Planning Organization meeting. January 31st, Mayor Gross and Town Manager Peters met with the Chamber for their quarterly meeting. And on February 1st, I attended the RVTV committee meeting.
All
And that's
right.
what I've got.
Been a busy time. Thank you very much for that. So we've already talked about postponing the meeting and changing it. So with that, we'll move on to the consent agenda. And tonight it has the minutes of the regular meeting of January 16th. Are there any changes or additions? Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Did you get that? Was Vice Mayor made the motion and Councilman McCarty made the second. All right, now let's get to the fun part of the meeting. We have some special guests with us tonight, several different categories, as a matter of fact. And, well, of course, we have the William Byrd High School football team, some of the representatives here tonight. And let me say, first of all, how honored I am to have these folks here. We all are honored by their presence and just really excited about your year. And we do have a proclamation. I think I mentioned to you folks earlier. We'll present this to the coach here in just a minute, and he can, put it into the office or wherever, but we'll get each one of you folks a copy of this. As a matter of fact, if you'll let us know, Coach, how many we need for the team, this lady right here will fix you right up. she takes care of everybody. So see what she'll do. So let me read the proclamation right quickly. Whereas team sports are an important part of the curriculum at schools in Roanoke County, teaching cooperation, sportsmanship, and athletic skill. And whereas the William Byrd High School football team finished their season as AAA state finalists with an outstanding overall record of 12 wins and 2 losses. And whereas the William Byrd Terriers won the Blue Ridge District Championship and the first regional championship in school history, the 2023 Regional 3D Championships. And whereas the Terriers football coach, Brad Lutz, has been head coach of Byrd's football team for 5 years, was named Region 3D Coach of the Year, and whereas 2023 has been one of the best seasons for the team in years. Now therefore, I, Brad Gross, and Vinton Town Council, on behalf of the town of Vinton and all of our citizens, do hereby express sincere congratulations to the members of the William Byrd High School football team and best wishes to the student, managers, coaches, and the school in their future endeavors. So, folks, if you would join us down front, let me just say one thing, then I'll give council an opportunity to say something if they'd like. I'm a big sports fan. We talk about sports all the time. I love the competition, and gosh, the guys play at skills levels these days that never dreamed of when I was in high school. So I'm a big fan. I love it, and I love what you guys have done. Obviously, you've accomplished a lot. I know it took a lot of work. You know, it always does. So I appreciate what you've done, but you've also given all of us something special. You know, we can really, we can brag about you guys. We appreciate what you've done, and we're very proud of you. And it's something at least your school, and many of us will remember for years and years. When I was in high school, back when the earth was still cooling, our school won the state championship, and I brag about it to this day. You know, I wasn't on the team, but just the fact that it was my school, and so you've given us all that, and so we all appreciate that. If I could say one other thing, this is really important to me. As big a sports fan as I am, I really like the fact that you guys are more than just athletes. You're good students and you're good citizens, and you contribute to the community. Back in the summer, I attended a few of the Mingle at the Market music features that we have. The Chamber of Commerce and the town sponsors through the summer. And so I saw a coach over there. I thought, oh man, that's pretty cool. Coach is here tonight. And I got to looking around, and here's a whole bunch of young men that are help setting things up. And I thought, that is awesome. That's really nice for them to set up everything. And then later that night, they came back and helped us take everything down. I just want to thank you for that. I thought that was really great, that not only are you learning about athletics and teamwork and all that, you're contributing to the community, and that's really important to me. That's really important to our community. So, Coach, thank you guys for adding that to the championship. That's certainly a championship caliber feature that you have there. We just appreciate that so much. Council, do you have anything you wanted to say?
I just want to say congratulations, you guys. I'm a terrier. My daughter's a terrier. I think it's just great, just exciting time for you guys, and you'll always remember it. And I appreciate you guys being here tonight.
Presented us well. I know I look like I graduated about 5 years ago from high school, but I actually graduated in 1980. But we followed you. Naturally, we followed you all the way through. And, the mayor's right. The first thing you bring to the table is not only you're a student first and you're an athlete second. Coach, job well done. And the record, winning the regional title and playing as a team. I mean, naturally, the times I saw you play, You played as a team. You did a great job, and you've made this community proud. And as they've said, it's something you can look back on years from now and realize that, hey, this is what we did, and I was part of that team. So congratulations.
Wait, I just want to say congratulations as well. Another thing that they've done is they've helped with the Lions Club work at the cemetery. I think they also helped clean up along the thing there on Niagara. They've done a lot. I mean, thank you so much. That is so cool for you to be able to say that as well. But you've made the town of Vinton very proud, and you've learned to work together as a team, which will not only help you now, but will help you in the future. So thank you so much for being a good example for others.
Sure have. You've made a great contribution to this community. And Council, I got some of the Invention pins I'd like to give each one of the guys, but if y'all will help me. And if you guys want to come up
and see if they can still catch.
Oh, dear.
Football, man.
You don't want to catch here.
Come on up here.
It was a running team, right?
They're catching you, you're through.
Yeah, we can't. They can catch
You're doing all over.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. I'll give you those. I've got one. I'll give you. Thank you very much.
I think she wants to get a picture.
Okay. How do you want us?
Overall.
Okay.
There won't be any problem. They'll be sitting on the bed.
We graduated 5 years ago. Graduated, that's pretty much. Same thing.
Thank you.
Yeah, my home. I go out the door. First, on behalf of our entire football program, thank you for this recognition. Our guys, and we've got a small representation. These are a handful of our seniors. A lot of them are competing in track or basketball tonight. But we do take a lot of pride in being a community team. I think that's one thing that I've coached 25 years, and I grew up in Richmond at a big 6A school, and we didn't have the feel that it has here in Vinton. We enjoy, and it's something our team talks about weekly as we played this season, is that we do represent a group of people that's much bigger than the William Byrd High School community, but the town of Vinton and the surrounding area. So we take a lot of pride in that, and that's one of the reasons why we give back in other ways, because this town has given us a lot outside of just support on a Friday night. It's nice to see the stands full on a Friday night, but it's also nice to be a part of the community outside of football. I can tell you that probably one of the highlights of this season, outside of winning 2 championships and having the most wins in school history, is that when these young men walked out in the state semifinal game and looked to their left, I felt like the entire town of Vinton was sitting at LCA High School to cheer us on. And those moments don't happen very often. And it's taken 97 years to get to this point as far as winning this particular championship. But the group of kids that we had that day, as obvious it is that the season is unforgettable. That moment that Vinton created for us and our community created for us is something that's just as valuable as the wins and the championship. So we really appreciate it. We're thankful you guys invited us here tonight, and thankful for your support. So.
Coach, thank you a lot. We certainly appreciate what you've done for this community and for the team. Can you tell us a little bit about, I understand you got to go to the Commanders game the other day?
Yes, sir. So our team was recognized earlier in the year. The Commanders had selected our coaches as the coach of the week. I think it was week 2. And then we were gracious enough to be recognized as coaches of the year for this particular year for the Commanders. So great honor, just another honor to stack on this year as far as a program. So thankful for that as well. So
Thank you, sir.
All right.
And congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, folks. We know you guys got homework to do, so if you have to leave, we
You don't have to
understand.
stay.
Yeah, we won't get upset.
Yeah. We won't be offended. We know your girlfriend's waiting for you to call. Forget that homework stuff. Okay. We're really blessed in this community, that's for sure. Okay, next on the agenda, we want to recognize Mr. Jeff Ramsey.
They're smarter.
Evening, Jeff.
Microphone move, it's fine.
Good evening, Mayor Gross, Vice Mayor Stovall, members of Town Council. My name's Jeff Ramsey. I reside at 201 Raleigh Avenue with my fiance Kimberly Hunter and our 4 daughters, Anya, Jocelyn, Haley, and Peyton. What brings me here tonight is I want to talk a little bit about something special that the Vinton Police Department did for me. So to do that, I got to backtrack a little bit. August 8th, 1970, my father, Calvin, was killed in Vietnam. I was born September 9th, 1970. So if you do the math, 1 month, 1 day. So as customary, my mother was given the American flag, and she stored it along with his obituary in a vinyl container. And she kept it for years. 5 years ago, she gave me the flag. So, and I always wanted to display it. Just never got around to it. Well, this past Christmas, Kimberly and the girls give me a display case for Christmas. And I'm 53 years old, and my kids are they're 19, 20, 20, and 21, count the twins. So it's the first time they've ever seen me cry. Very emotional. So a day or two later, we took the flag out of the case and noticed that somewhere throughout the year it had been unfolded, and it was not folded proper. Well, I was not going to display that flag not proper. So we went on a journey of we knew nothing about how to fold a flag, knew nobody that could do it for us. So Kimberly, she talked to some people here and found out that Chief Drummond would handle that. So we give him the possession of the flag on January 11th, out here in front of the Veterans Wall. In front of my mom, who was out of town, happened to be in town that day. So it was ironic that she was here. My mom, all of our family members, and quite a few members of the Vinton Police Department. We watched Chief Drummond and Lieutenant Caldwell unfold and refold the flag proper. On top of that, Chief Drummond read the obituary. So 53 and a half years later, I got to actually be a part of something that means a lot to me. So I stand here, telling you that day there was not a lot of dry eyes, not just in my family. If you look over at the members of the police department, there was quite a few tears being shed. So I'm here, I want to thank the Chief Drummond, Lieutenant Caldwell, I know he's back there, for folding the flag graciously, with dignity. And also want to tell how proud I am of them. And I wasn't born in Vinton, I'm a transplant, but Vinton is home, and I appreciate it. If possible, I'd like to hand you guys something.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
Thanks, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's really special.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I really appreciate you guys letting me speak tonight. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Jeff, yes, thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you for sharing all that with us. And thank you for allowing our police department to be part of it. And a lot of things there. Of course, it shows our police department is ready and able and willing to do a lot of different things. So I thank you guys for taking care of that for Jeff. And Jeff, thank you for sharing all that.
Absolutely.
Special recognition to your father. I didn't go to Vietnam. I was in the Army during the Vietnam era and lost a lot of friends. So very, very special. Just call.
Department and the Benton Police Department Honor Guard. It's an honor and privilege to be part of that dedication ceremony back to the family.
Thank you, sir, for that. Okay. All right. Thanks again, man. Appreciate you. God bless you.
Thank you for taking the time to come and
Absolutely.
tell us that, because we wouldn't have known that.
Yeah, they don't.
That's awesome.
They don't get a lot of people walking up to that microphone right there and telling them how good of a job they do. I can tell you that.
They should.
They should, but
Absolutely, they should.
yeah.
Well done,
Best of the
Jeff.
best.
Well done. Been knowing Jeff a long time too. Good,
Absolutely.
good man. Good man. Yeah, yeah, good man. All right. Now we're running the gamut here tonight. So Donna, you want to talk about? All right. Oh, there you are. Talk about Employee of the Year recognitions for 2023.
From back there, it looked like this was going to be a lot lower than it was. Thought I got away with it this time. All right. So, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I'm here to go over the winners of the Employee of the Year for 2023. In 2023, we decided to expand the Employee of the Year program and divided it into 3 categories. We had the Public Works Department, the Police Department, and Administration. Administration consists of all the remaining departments within the town. Staff could only vote on the co-workers in their respective departments. Once we tallied all the ballots, the results were as follows. And I'm going to ask the mayor to give out the award and the individuals to stand up here across the front. And then I believe Debbie would like to have a picture before you all sit back down. So for the Administrative Employee of the Year, they're lethal. Toby Rousseau. Toby has been with the town since September of 2021, and he works in our capital projects building maintenance department. He serves as our facility maintenance supervisor. He supports every department in multiple ways. He also serves on the safety committee and is a key player in keeping the town facilities running. Congratulations, Toby. The administrative runner-up was Tiffany Stewart. Tiffany Stewart has been with our finance department since June of 2021. She is the most senior finance employee and has been the cornerstone through the major transitions that the finance department has been through over the last few years. She was recently promoted to assistant finance director, but we know her main job is keeping finance director Keene in line. All right, so our Public Works Department, our Employee of the Year was PC Crimmins. He is not here tonight, but he's been with the town since 2023, and he's quickly proven himself to be a dependable and dedicated employee. He's an integral member of the grounds crew, and he keeps Vinton looking beautiful. Our runner-up in Public Works is William Banks Bradford Sr. Banks has been an equipment operator with the town for 7 years. He single-handedly keeps the town spotless every day as he is the individual that drives our street sweeper through town. Our last department was the police department. And this year's Employee of the Year in the police department was Brandon Altiero. Been a member of the police department since 2019. He came to us from Salem. He started with us as a patrol officer and has quickly risen through the ranks to the current rank of sergeant. He is an Air Force veteran and he serves on the town's Veterans Committee. Runner-up in the police department for Employee of the Year was Lieutenant Scott Hurt. Lieutenant Hurt has been an officer with the town since 2008. He exhibits his dedication to the town daily by serving the citizens, leading his officers, and maintaining a high standard of excellence. All the individuals recognized this evening are exceptional in their work, contributions, and behaviors. Please join me in congratulating them one more time. Yep.
Spread them out. I'll be a bit of a smear.
All right. Thank you, folks. We certainly are very proud. I know the council wants to shake your hand.
Yeah, we do. If you can come back. Come back.
Thank you, sir.
You gotta make your laugh, your victory laugh.
Yes, victory lap.
Sure. I like that sleeping to go to your stuff.
Thank you, Mayor.
Congratulations.
Congratulations
again.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you. Back to my phone. I'll be here. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Well.
Is that enough?
All right. We're certainly proud of all those folks. That we are really blessed to have the staff in town that we have currently. Just an awesome staff. We appreciate them so much. Jeff, I'm not sure we have a trophy for you, but if you'd like to give us a report. Yeah.
This is going to be real brief unless people have a lot of questions. I have the honor or the unfortunate privilege of being president of the Dogwood Festival for the second year. And we're making big changes. Well, we're making change to one thing this year. We are taking the parade not away, but off of Washington Street, and we're doing it around town, and it's going to be a walking parade. We have allowed in our last meeting that they could, if anybody wanted to pull small floats with like a yard tractor or one of those four-wheelers or a golf cart, they could do that. We're still going to have the carriages for the Dogwood Queens, and we'll have the honor guard, but it's just, we can't get anybody to be in parades in April anymore. The only band we can get is William Byrd. And, we've gone as far as contacting the Heidi Tidies, the William Byrd, the BMI band, and they're all very nice, but they're finishing up school then. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so and then we'll have a bunch of people sign up for it and then don't show. So we're going to try to make it more of a walking parade. The band's still going to march. Boy, we're catching heck over it too. But none of the people that are giving us heck offer any of their time. We're down to about 7 people doing the whole thing. And we got 3 new people last year that we thought were going to be very helpful, and one just disappeared, and one, unfortunately, who's probably the best of the 3, her husband was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. So it's not looking good for their family. But anyway, we appreciate everything y'all have done for us, your donations, your contributions. We lucked out last year that Rosie's hit us with a pretty good one, and maybe they will again. We got a good donation from Community Foundation last year. That's from the Melva Perkey scholarship or whatever. Perfect. And she was a local music teacher in school here for years. And I was informed today that we're getting that again this year. But what is happening is we send out, and we do this every year the same way. We send out letters to about 80 retail, restaurant, whatever in the area. Send it out in the late fall, say, hey, some people want to get their contributions in early so they can use them on their taxes that year. We send them out again, which we have already done. The second letter's been out for about 3 weeks, and to this day, we've gotten 250 from Dick Cranwell and 100 from Jeff Janey, and then 100 from Nita Eccles. And, you know, we're starting to feel like if the community isn't supporting us, why are we doing it? And actually, the 8 of us work really, really hard. And it's, you know, I don't know, but it's going to be, we'll probably have more vendors this year. And the vendors are signing up, and we're paying their fees and all that. So and we're going to do the concert the night before, and like we always do. And the only thing that's changing is the parade, and we're still having a parade. Might turn out to be a nicer parade. Who knows? I mean, a little more. It's funny. My wife and I last year, on July 4th, whatever that weekend. Well, no, it was on July 4th. We were going over to see some friends over on Craig's Creek, and we had to go through Newcastle, and we got stopped there at a little light and got held up because their parade was starting, the 4th of July parade, and we were real close to being the first people that got stopped, so we saw it real well, and we go, that parade's so much better than our Dogwood parade. And I'm going, this is Newcastle, but it's July 4th. We could probably have a good July 4th parade. Right. You know, ours is in the middle of April. And so, but we appreciate your help. And if anybody has any questions, if I don't know the answer, if Pete doesn't know the answer, we're having a meeting tomorrow night. I can find out the answer and email it to you, or call you, whatever you choose. So does anybody have any questions?
So Jeff, just clarify, if I understand correctly, if someone wants to walk in the parade, a group or something.
We're hoping to get a lot of groups from Williamsburg.
Boy Scouts or clubs or
all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
it sounds exciting to me. And it's only half a mile, right?
Roughly. I mean,
Roughly half mile.
Yeah.
And, you know, for this area, very little elevation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And I'll just add, the website is live.
Yes.
So if you can refer any club or community group that'd like to participate, they can go to the website, and there's information on there. It's free to sign up for the parade. So the participants in the parade are free. But all the information on the Dogwood's been posted, and I've been working with Jeff and the committee for the last couple of months, and they've been great. They're very dedicated. They're small, but they're dedicated. Yeah. And they're doing a lot of good work. So, you know, just need this community to come out and support.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the day of, I mean, last year, because it was beautiful weather, it was, I mean, the Saturday was slammed. Of course, we spent all this money on a band and all this kind of stuff for Friday night. It got rained out, you know, so weather is the main determining factor. Because people love to walk around to a free festival.
Right.
Yeah.
And it'll probably feel more compact and more community driven.
Yeah.
And the way I'm thinking you're going to do it. I mean, I think that's good. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah. It's, I think it'll be fine. really do. But we are catching it pretty bad. Yeah, but one comment.
We don't know anything about that.
Oh, no. Remember, we canceled the Christmas parade.
Oh, when was that, during COVID?
We did the Santa Crawl, and the Santa Crawl has won everybody over. I mean, it's a big hit. So when I saw that you were going to be doing something different, I said, wow, maybe this will be better.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we don't have the participation that we need for that. So maybe this will be something different.
Right. And
Maybe more
change
people.
isn't always bad.
Right.
People still come to the parade. It's just, if we had, last year we had 40 antique fire trucks, and it could be 28. I don't remember, but that parade would have been 10 minutes if it hadn't been for those 40 fire trucks.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Well, I appreciate you not giving up.
Yeah.
I mean, you very well could have said, look, no parade, do the vendors or whatever. Appreciate that. It does give people the opportunity to come out. And like you said, those groups that come from schools and stuff, they bring a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it does bring people into the downtown. So, yeah, I mean, my thing is that.
We're not changing anything about the festival. We're going to have the kids, we might have a magician instead of a juggler in the kids zone or something like that. But everything's going to be like it has been, as far as all that goes.
So the one question I do have, no automobiles. They got to be.
Not in the parade.
Not in the parade. So they got to be tractor.
Yeah.
Now, how about a horse? How much?
Well, we're pulling 2 carriages.
Okay.
We thought about not horses, but some of these people around here have like a little what do they call it? Little covered wagons that they pull with the miniature horses.
Right.
And so we'll look at anybody. I don't care if we have full-size horses, but who knows how well somebody's horses are trained. I mean, those ones, the Lexington Carriage Company, I think you could fire cannons over them and they wouldn't do anything.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Well, I agree with Mike. I appreciate you not giving up on this. It's still a great tradition here in Vinton, so I'm glad we're.
well, I just hope. I mean, and it's all finances. I mean, it's.
I got you.
Yeah, and we spend 20 to 30 every year.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we get a lot of it back if we have a good concert night, if we, other things, all the vendor rental and all that stuff. But
Well, people too have to realize, I mean, you take bands, a lot of people, I didn't realize this, but that's from being on the school board, but I mean, there's about 70% of the parents that rent instruments for their students. Well, by that time in the school year, everything's over with. They don't want to keep paying rent for the Dogwood Parade, so they turn their instruments in, naturally. I mean, we've always experienced, we went to a point where we were paying bands and then
I think, we usually pay the band director at William Burby, just give him a check for like $1,500.
Right.
And that's for marching, but then he's also putting the concert band on stage and all that. And so,
absolutely.
Well, I think you guys have done a great job in meeting the challenges, and I'm excited about the parade.
And we might add entertainment during the festival. We got to thinking about, we pay $600, I think it is, for that steel drum band and whoever they are. And they march down a hill for 20 minutes and then they leave. Well, I don't mind paying them $600, but let's put them on a stage and make them play for an hour.
There you go.
Something like that. And so we'll do more things like that. And we do have the ability to use 3 stages now. We do the one at the Baptist Church, and we do the big one. And then we have the one out in front of the municipal building we can use too.
Yep, which works well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But if anybody else has any other questions? All right.
No, thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate what your entire committee's doing, as a matter of fact. Thank you, sir. Next item is citizens' comments and petitions. My good friend back here had a question for you, Mr. Town Manager. He was wondering if you had any information on the former service station on Virginia Avenue. And I'm sorry I didn't give you a heads up. But I told him, I don't know anything, but maybe you do. So
Sure, I can provide a quick update on that. So the Speedway, as we're exiting town, so the 7-Eleven Corporation purchased all of the Speedway assets. That included certain locations they didn't necessarily want, including the one in Benton. They were strategic in what they were buying, a larger entity, a larger business, and there were some other locations like the one in Benton that they didn't necessarily want. So they tried to operate it for a short time period, but some of the infrastructure of the building itself, they decided to close that location. And so they, with per DEQ regulations, they removed the gas tanks, which you've seen, and they boarded the building up. I have spoken to the real estate listing agent, who is 7-Eleven's based out of, their corporation's out of Texas, but they've got a local commercial real estate agent in Richmond that is listing the property for them. And so we've had a couple of conversations with her, and I haven't seen it formally posted for commercial sale, but town staff, we've been providing that location as a possible location for different prospects. So we're trying to work actively behind the scenes to get a new tenant there. There are some development restrictions on it placed by the owner, deed restrictions. But so it's not anything the town knew about or was questioned about. It just was a corporate decision. It was an acquisition, and then it was a reduction in locations just because it didn't meet their strategic goals. So,
Gotcha.
It's just kind of one of those things you don't know it's happening until it did, and because the decision's being made by a corporation who actually never saw the location they were buying. They were buying, 40 or 50 locations across the East Coast. Some of those were strategic for them to purchase, and some weren't. So they had never set foot on the site. It took us quite actually a long time to track down someone to speak to, an actual body. We had addresses, we had DBAs, we had all these different things, these rabbit trails that we had to chase to figure out who was owned the site, and we finally got to someone in Oklahoma, and they referred us to someone in Texas, and they had never seen the site, and in fact they didn't even know where Benton was. And so once we kind of worked through those channels, it took us several weeks to get to a body that actually knew what they had. And then short time after, I got the call from the real estate agent in Richmond that was referred to talk to us. So she has been in town. She's actually put boots on the parking lot and seen it, made some adjustments to what their valuation for that site was. It was dramatically overpriced. And dramatically. So when she came to town, she saw it. I think she's made some correct adjustments. And it may take some time before it finds the right home, but we're actively pushing it where we can.
Okay.
So that's what I know.
Okay. Well, thank you, sir. So hopefully that'll help you.
Well, I do know, I can add to that, I do know that it cannot go back under one of the deed restrictions. It cannot go back as a convenience store gas station. They took the pumps out because when it closed, naturally, I've got some friends that on the investment side, and we followed up on it, and he was right. I don't know what the price is now, because the first price was $800,000.
The actual price was $1.4 million.
Oh, okay. I didn't get that. I got $800,000.
And they reduced it to 8 something.
Right. That's the last price I got. So, but I do know for a fact it can't go back as a convenience store. So you got there the building. Well, and the building's got a lot of issues. So that's why they closed it, was because of the building.
Well, I know I miss it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
It was convenient. Yeah, that's for sure. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully that'll help you. Thank you for that information. I was not aware of all that.
Glad I knew something.
Me too. Sorry I didn't give you a heads up there, brother. Okay. So with that, we'll move on to our briefings for tonight. Deputy Chief Lawless, you're up next, sir.
Watch your head.
I don't know what happened. I think it just happened. You might have to come close.
See the line.
It's
Oh, here we go.
it's working. We're good. Okay.
It goes to sleep after a while. Should come back on. Okay. Can you hit the Cody's button too?
Are you?
Joke, I stole it.
Don't y'all pickle.
Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council, it's a privilege to go over the Benton Police Department's 2023 annual report with you. Just real brief before I get started, the PowerPoint I will present is a condensed version of the report. Each one of you should have the full report. It was 39 pages, I believe, so it was in the best interest to kind of condense that down out of respect for everybody's time here tonight. So when I start going over the annual report, I'll have to say that the first slide that I'm going to go over with you is probably, it is the most important in my view. Took a lot of work to get there.
Turn it on the side.
Set me up.
I didn't know how to label it.
It may still take a lot of work to get there.
So the first slide states that our agency is 100% fully staffed. We have 25 sworn officer positions and 2 civilian positions. Every position is completely filled. And when I say it's completely 100% filled, that's stating that we have nobody in the academy. We don't have anybody in field training. It is 100% fully staffed.
Wow.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That was, that's a goal that the chief and I have been working on for quite some time. Really bringing good quality officers to our department. But most importantly, what I want to give credit to is really the officers that have worked with us over the years. They went out and actually did most of the recruiting. Word of mouth goes a long ways. And with the culture that everybody sitting up there, all of you guys from Pete to Cody to Donna, the culture that we have built here has allowed us to be very attractive to other officers in other localities. And we are very blessed to have them with us. So we are completely fully staffed. So to touch on the administration side of things, so our accreditation first and foremost is important because it allows us to efficiently and effectively serve the community. It instills trust within the community. We were first accredited in 2002. Accreditation runs every 4 years. We received our 5th reaccreditation in 2022, but it's a continuous cycle. So even though accreditation comes around every 4 years, you have assessments and your terms that you have to abide by each and every year. So our next accreditation assessment is set for 2026. In 2023, we completed our first accreditation term for that 2026 reaccreditation. So our social media outreach has all increased in 2023. Obviously, we have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The impact of 2023, the reach was up 433.6%. Page visits were up 370.2%. New likes were up 58.9%. And the highest likes and reactions from the posts that we have for 2023 was the Star Wars Day post.
Is that May the 4th?
That was May the 4th. On the grants management side of things, we have 4 grants that we got in 2023, the Bulletproof Vest partnership. We received $5,100. What that does is help us out in getting officers new ballistic vests. These vests expire every 5 years. They're very expensive. They can run anywhere from $800 to $1,200 per vest. So every 5 years, those have to be replaced. So that grant helps us out a lot to kind of help our budget when trying to replace all this. Local law enforcement block grant, we received $9,452.10. The law enforcement ARPA grant was the biggest one that we were able to get for our department, which was $157,870. And for a small department like we have, that's a substantial amount of money that we're able to really upgrade some of the equipment that we have and give officers some equipment that they didn't have to better perform their job. The DMV Selective Enforcement Grant, we received $22,044. That covers DMV overtime for some of the officers to go out here and work extra traffic enforcement. It also purchased 2 new radar units for the patrol cars and 2 new LiDAR units because the LiDAR units that we had was beginning to be outdated. So that covered all that stuff. So the total awarded grants that we received in 2023 was $194,466.10.
Yeah, impressive.
So on the records management side of the police department, warrants processed, it was 1,081. This was an increase from last year of 25.69%. The VSIN validations was 180. This was a slight decrease of 10.44%. The FOIA request, which is when citizens want any type of police records, they can do a FOIA request. A lot of those take a lot of time to fulfill those requests. Some of them are for body cam footage. Obviously, some things we can't release, but when we can release them, we actually have to go through the actual camera system, redact a bunch of stuff before we release them. So one FOIA request for body cam or dash cam video that we are allowed to release can take up to 4 or 5 hours just to fulfill that one request. But the FOIA request was 453 for the year. That was up 33.62%. The concealed handgun permits, we had 108. That was a 9.24% decrease. Officer subpoenas was 430. That was a 26.84% increase. And reports merged by the records department was 1,847, which is a 3.06% increase. And the records department is basically, if the patrol officers are busy and they generate more work, everything gets funneled through the records department. So if their numbers goes up, usually the records department's going to go up as well. And I'll talk about the patrol division here and some of their numbers. So calls for service was 15,635 total calls for service in 2023. This was an increase of 24.15%. And I want to reiterate that even though it was an increase by 15 or about 24%, it was a little over 3,000 call increase. And that's a good thing. And a lot of people would look at that and think that that was a bad thing. Your calls are increasing. What's going on? That's a really good thing because the town is growing. And if you want the town to grow, you want to attract more people, more commuters to our town. Well, when you attract more people, you're obviously going to have a little bit more of a call load. The town has done a phenomenal job with growing the town. And I think this just reflects that that hard work is paying off. Security checks, we had 3,358. That was a 112.53% increase from last year. And security checks can be, new businesses coming to town, which is why that's increased. The more businesses, the more security checks the officers do at night. Also residents, when they go on vacation, they do a request through the police department. We're happy to check on their residents while they're gone. That's where all the security checks come from. Traffic stops, we had 3,386. This was a 30.33% increase. And traffic citations issued was 2,217. And this was a 32.95% increase. And with those increases, it's because we're fully staffed. If you have more officers out there working the street, you're obviously going to have more things that they're able to see. They have more time to actually focus on some of the traffic safety issues that they wouldn't generally be able to do because they'd be answering calls. Traffic accidents, just real quick on this. Total accidents was 402 accidents. That was actually a decrease, and a decrease in every category, which is what you want to see. Usually statistics will show if you have more traffic stops, more citations, your traffic accidents are going to decrease. And that's exactly what we saw here with the data. To kind of break the accidents down just a little bit to show you how they decreased. Property damage accidents decreased by 7.69%. Accident involving personal injury, they decreased by 12.98%. Hit and run property damage decreased by 18.75%. Hit and run with injury decreased by 66.66%. And obviously, we didn't have any fatalities within the town. So in every category, as far as the accidents go, everything decreased, which is what
You
we'd
look
like
at
to
that number, it
see.
don't look like a big number. It really don't. It's thousands of people we got coming through the town every day, and you only have 402 accidents. So I mean,
Absolutely.
traffic enforcement's working somewhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree
That's
100%.
awesome. Awesome. That's great.
On the criminal investigation side, criminal investigations had 12 cases that were under investigation currently from 2023. 6 cases were closed, which resulted in an arrest. 26 cases were marked inactive. It can be inactive for a couple of different reasons. The victim may refuse to cooperate anymore with us. It could be that there are no suspects, leads. So those cases just go into the inactive status until a lead can be generated, and then it'll move back into the active status. That was 49 felony criminal cases, 19 search warrants, 1 court order, and 1 subpoena ducis tecum. What the court order is it's basically like the officer goes to the magistrate, tries to get a search warrant. For whatever reason, the magistrate doesn't issue the search warrant, but the detective knows that they have probable cause for the search warrant. They will do an affidavit, go before the judge. The judge will then sign the court order for the search warrant. And subpoena ducis tecum is pretty much the same thing, where the court order is more on the property side of things. The subpoena is more on the financial side of a search warrant. And community services. This is some of the events that we had in 2023. Pancakes with the Police, Arbor Day, which is always nice, Trunk or Treat, Hot Chocolate with a Cop, Shop with a Cop, which was really fun. And we did at Walmart. We've done it for the past few years with the Lions Club. Fun thing about that this year is the kids were involved. So the kids got to go with us. That was a real treat. The officers loved that. National Drug Take Back, Little Feet Meet, the Law Enforcement Torch Run, Tie-Dye with the Kids, the Shred-a-thon, which was a huge event here in the town. And I believe Antonia was a big part of that one. And did y'all run out of space?
We were close to. We pretty much got right at the end of it, and he was just like, "Yeah, probably no more, but if we keep doing that, we're probably gonna have 2 trucks." So
Yeah, so it was a huge event. The summer reading at the library, and then Who Let the Dogs Out at Cundiff Elementary, which is a back to school thing that Officer Holland did. And speaking of Officer Holland, other than planning these events, he is our community services officer. He is also tasked with doing security checks. The officers will do security checks at the schools as well. But so will Officer Holland. Just Officer Holland himself did 302 security checks at the schools. The 42.85% increase from last year. This supplements the SROs. This makes sure that the buildings are secure, the staff is safe, but just keeping that and building that relationship with the staff and the students is also what he enjoys doing, and also part of his job duties other than just planning events for the police department. Having said that, this is a condensed version, but I will be happy to answer any questions if y'all need clarification on something.
Kind of a picky question, I guess. You were talking about all those FOIA requests and the amount of time it takes.
Yes, sir.
Do we get reimbursed for any of that, or is that just all on our dime, or?
It used to be all on our dime. After reading the FOIA requirements, what we have started to do is usually most things we don't charge for, but if it's a big request like body cam footage where we actually have to sit there and watch video for 4 or 5 hours trying to redact everything, we will charge them for the time. And that's the time to watch the video, to do the redactions, to make all the changes, to make the new video. We will charge them for those hours that the officer spends doing that. Yes, sir.
You know, Mr. Mayor, you bring it up. I went to the last VML conference, and part of one of the sessions I went to talked about FOIA requests. And I mean, they had some jurisdictions that just had astronomical requests. And one of the things they did, they started charging like per copy.
Oh, yeah.
Every copy that somebody that they needed to make the charge for that. And what it did was kind of back people off a little bit from just making frivolous requests. Yeah. So, so
Thank you.
it does take a lot of time.
Yeah, we've had several requests to where once we give them what it's going to cost, they sometimes will back off of the request itself. But sometimes they don't, and it takes some time. It's just, it's the nature of the beast. But
Yep. Okay, I was just curious. Great report. Great report.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, very good. Thank you, sir.
Good job on the condensed version.
Yeah, you did great. That was great.
Yeah, very skillful, that's for sure. Thank you, sir. And with that, we'll move to our committee reports, Community Development Committee.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor Gross, members of council.
Sure.
This has been the evening of updates and acknowledgements. I will keep this report fairly short. Nathan typically provides the update on this committee. He actually had the opportunity to spend the evening with his father who was in town, so I
Good for him.
welcome the opportunity presented on his behalf so he could hang out with his dad.
Absolutely.
So we had our last Community Development Committee meeting, if I can get the date right, December 14th. And on our Community Development Committee is two members of council, Keith Lyles and Sabrina McCarty, and they do a wonderful job helping us out getting through those agenda items. This is our newest committee, as you may know, and I think it has hit a good need, and we're sharing a lot of good information and getting a lot of positive feedback. So we just had a couple of updates. We did talk about the Gish Mill closing and the next steps. So we had just recently closed on the Gish Mill property to the Gish Mill Davi LLC, who is our developer. Jeremy worked quite extensively on that closing. We really closed on the property almost twice, a year ago in 2022 and then late 2023. Where they are currently is their design team is working on the final set of construction level detail of plans. And from that construction level detail, they will submit for the building permits and actually get construction underway. So there was a lot of work, a lot of preliminary work getting to the date of closing before they would fully commit once they had the funding in place and actually had ownership. So there is a work session coming up with the design team, and it's not just Hill Studio. There was actually a couple of other entities that are participating in that, and the town has been invited to participate throughout that day. It's actually a day and a half of various disciplines within the design process: structural engineering, the landscape architecture, and all electrical, plumbing. All those different facets are all being worked out. They're having kind of a day and a half of a charade almost to go through these exercises, and they've asked several of the town staff to participate. So that's exciting to see, and we'll get to actually see some more current renderings and kind of visuals of what the space will look like. Then we had the EPA Brownfields grant and next step. So we briefed the committee that we have recently received our second round of EPA Brownfield assessment funds in an amount of $500,000. It's a grant from the EPA. We had just concluded this past year our first round of $300,000. And so we use these grant funds to do environmental assessments on previously developed property in order to remove some of the obstacles for those sites to be redeveloped. So we've had some great success in the town of taking properties that, kind of ugly ducklings and taking some of the risk out of that for a developer and paying for some of that due diligence phase up front. And it makes it more attractive for them to make a move on the property and then eventually develop it. So this next round, we've already started working on the fire damaged properties in downtown. So we've got approvals from the 2 property owners and the 6 parcels that were affected by the fire damage, and we're in the process of doing those assessments. And then we'll be doing some hazard mitigation to restore the property to green space. And that's not the eventual final version of that site. We just want to get it in a nice holding pattern so that it can be usable for community events, but we could also get rid of the ugly fence that we've got up and make it safe for the general public again. The next step after that will actually be to do some design concepts and put some financial kind of pro forma design level estimates together in order to either convince the current property owners that the time is right to move forward with redevelopment, or perhaps bring in some investors, or they may end up selling the property. But we just want to instigate kind of the next step design of those parcels. The next item was transportation project updates, and there were numerous of those, and that is what it is. We've got a number of transportation projects going on throughout the town: Walnut Avenue, crosswalks, greenways, and we just provided some updates on where we are with that. Probably the most relevant one that we discussed was the parking lot here in Walnut. If you've seen that recently, it's ready, pretty much ready to go for asphalt. So as soon as the asphalt plants open up sometime, hopefully in early March, they'll get the asphalt in, and there'll be some plantings in March. And then eventually the street, all the underground stuff is ready, and it's the gradings there, and it's just kind of the finishing touches. So that's looking really sharp and has really dramatically changed that area. And then we talked about community program staffing update. We're actually interviewing for our director level position this week. We had 82 applicants. So we just updated the committee on kind of that process that we're now actually in the middle of. And there are a number of behind the scenes activities going on for 2024 event planning. And so we talked more about that, about meeting with the health department and the fire marshal, and getting the fireworks contract under kind of under the agreement. So there's a lot of behind the scenes things that happen many, many months in advance before the actual event is held. Out for the community to enjoy. So just updated them on that. And then the comprehensive plan. So we're due for a comprehensive plan update. The last one we done was in 2002. And so the process for this is we've put together a scope of work, and we've submitted an RFP, request for proposal. So it's currently out on the street for design firms, consulting firms to put together proposals to help us with this process. We envision this to be about a 15-month process. So it's going to take quite some time. There'll be a number of citizen engagement opportunities through social media, through in-person meetings, through surveys. We'll develop some stakeholder small groups that work through this. So it's a really fun process. It's a lot of work that goes into it. And the idea for those, and just to kind of touch base on that, the comp plan is what you envision the community to be in 20 years. So it's kind of forward thinking. It's not specific action oriented in most cases. It's just kind of, what you envision the community to be. And then you break that down into smaller strategic goals throughout the 20-year, 25-year process to actually achieve that vision. So it's really fun. We've done a lot of ordinance updates over the years, but we haven't done a full comp plan update in a couple of decades. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That'll be able.
Our plan is to hopefully kick that off in April, and the current timeline, if we were able to stay on schedule, is we would go, in all likelihood, try to be going to adoption in June of 25. So that would be the rough timeline. And that was our report. That was our Community Development Committee for that day.
Wow. You guys stay busy, don't you? Good job. Good job. Yeah.
It's a fun committee.
And if I might just comment briefly, Mike, to your point, that comp plan is very exciting. It's a fun process, and it's really important. And as Pete mentioned, there'll be opportunities for our citizens to get involved and to have their input and everything. And a lot of things that we have done just in the last few years were in the comp plan from years ago.
Sure.
So, yeah, it's really a neat process, so I'm excited about that. Okay, thank you, sir. Sure. All right, next one is Public Works Committee. Cody, I guess you got that one, right?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Jill Acker is going to come and give that report.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Jill.
Good to see you, Jill.
I figured if she stayed, she had to be staying for a reason. No.
I want to make sure you get it right.
Got that right.
That's right.
I figured she was due for a heart attack these days, so might as well.
It might have been it.
I am. You know, I always say, you know, when like reviewing minutes, you know, you should put like dirty words or something in there to make sure you read them.
Anybody read them?
Exactly.
But Jill, we do like those reports. When we say Jill's going to give the report, you just go like that.
Yeah.
The vice mayor was timing, so I was accused of not being awake earlier, so we'll move. Yes, Public Works Director Bo Herndon couldn't be with us this evening, so I offered to give the report on his behalf. And as Council members Mullins and McCarty can attest, the Public Works Committee has been quite busy, along with the Public Works Department. So I did take a long list, and I'll go through it fairly quickly. If you have any questions, we can clarify. One of the highlights of what we discussed is the new street sign rollout and program. So the new street signs, the new green signs, white border with new typeface, those have started to be installed in the Midway neighborhood of town. You could drive over there today. They are actively going up. So we're taking the old signs down, readjusting the poles, putting new poles in. As Bo said, we're taking a comprehensive look at those intersections. So if they need new stop bars, if they need new stop signs or any other signage at the intersection, we are doing replacements, and we're going to work through all the intersections in town eventually over the course of the next few months. But Midway came first, so I would invite you or any other citizens to take a look at some of those new signs as they're going up. It's really cleaning up the intersections. Some of the signs, as you may know, throughout the town have been quite faded over the years. The next goal neighborhood, we're going to follow the trash routes. So the Monday trash route, which is the Bally High, Bush Farm, Mountain View Road area, will come next after Midway, which we would anticipate starting in the next couple weeks. Paving, as many of you know, paving for the fall wrapped up in late November, early December. We still have Clearview and Niagara to go, the full length of Niagara, the full length of Clearview. So Boxley will return to the town long about March or soon thereafter when the asphalt plants reopen back up to hit those and finish out what we typically call, that would be last year's paving cycle. But looking ahead to some new ads, on April 15th, and we know this date very specifically because of the railroad, we'll also be paving 8th Street from Walnut Avenue and the intersection that was recently redone with the project down along Walnut Avenue Phase 1. So paving on 8th Street from Walnut Avenue to the town line. So also getting, that's a major cut through Midway over there, and getting some new asphalt on that road. We are also in process for planning out the fall paving schedule for this coming year as we're going through the budget process. So we're looking at a number of different options, and representatives from Boxley have been touring the town with Mr. Herndon to get a gauge of this. We have tentatively allocated early in the budget process another $1 million for the fall paving schedule to try to keep up with sort of the precedent that we've set over the past few years. We anticipate doing more than that, but that is a new baseline that we would like to aim for at $1 million a year for paving. Stormwater projects are sort of the bread and butter of Public Works at this time. First Street in Cleveland, there was a large sinkhole that had opened up at that intersection just right here behind the municipal building. And so we've been working on that for a couple weeks. We anticipate that finishing up within the next week or so. We have some sidewalk and curb and gutter work to do, but thankfully, with the exception of some road closures early on, that project has gone well and should be a comprehensive fix for that stormwater channel moving forward. So we're currently identifying future stormwater projects. So if you know of any of those, we have some on the list moving forward. But if you know of any, or if any emergencies that come up, please let us know. The refuse truck discussion, we had been in sort of going back and forth, an internal discussion, and at Councilmember Mullins's and McCarty's request, did a pro and con list to do a one-armed bandit versus staying with the current tipper trucks due to cost considerations, staffing considerations, and sort of ease of flow for planning the routes. We have decided to stay with the current truck configurations, the flipper trucks. They are significantly cheaper, and our staff know how to use them, and it's something we provide a high level of service to the town already utilizing these, and didn't feel that it was prudent at this time to change that setup for the trucks. And then lastly, something that is no longer within our purview, but something that still impacts our citizens and our broader community. With the water system, the Western Virginia Water Authority is getting ready to finish up the 4th Street water line replacement. There have been some road closures over there, but that should be finishing up within the next couple weeks. And then we will be looking ahead to some other water projects in and around the downtown area that we could work on. And then for our friends out in East County, true to their word, and thanks to the ARPA money given to the Water Authority on behalf of the town, they have started the Lindenwood replacement project.
Oh, wow.
So that's a major replacement project for something that was in the town water system, and they have a contract completion date of next February. So they will be working on that throughout the rest of the year.
Cool.
Yeah.
So yes, that's huge. So while they are not technically town citizens, they were utility customers for many years, and so I thought council would like to know that. And if you know anyone out in East County, that's a major project for that neighborhood.
Right.
It's a total replacement of that system.
Wow, that's exciting.
Cool.
That's great.
So that is the report. Hopefully it was under the vice mayor's time limit, and if you don't have any questions.
You did make it.
You did a good job. That was great. There again, Public Works Committee is quite busy. You guys are doing a lot.
It's a good committee to be.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Next one is Finance Committee.
That is also me.
Change your hat and,
Yes, ma'am. So Finance Committee, actually, I will apologize on this. So I will likely focus more on the January Finance Committee meeting, just because we will go over some highlights of the October financial statements. But since those are getting a little long in the tooth now, if you have any detailed questions on those, I'd be happy to answer them. But for October, for the financial report concluding on October 31st, 2023, that represents about 1/3 of the way through the fiscal year. And looking at our general fund revenues and expenditures, we are almost dead on with that. So our revenues are actually running a little higher as of October. What we were seeing, we were actually at 36% of our revenues collected, which is fairly good for the beginning part of the fiscal year because traditionally we get a decent cash boost coming from the spring collections, and then we have to live off that for a couple months. And we had some major projects that we knew that had bills coming due in November and December, such as Mountain View Road, prepayment of that project, which is still scheduled for this summer, and then once again, those paving bills from the fall paving, and then some grants that needed to go out the door with Walnut Avenue phases 1 and 2. So we did have some major cash outlays coming, but as of October, we were in a very good spot, and our total expenditures across the general fund were actually at 31%. So we were a little higher on the revenues and a little lower on the expenditures, which put us into a good spot going into those high one-time expenditures in the late fall and early winter. One of the things of note of the October financial statements is we were still utilizing the old utility fund as we were closing out some grant projects. Moving forward, the Finance Committee will be briefed this month about the closeout of those those bond projects. This was a $4 million bond that the town had gotten in 2021. So that is ready for closeout. We'll be doing some cleanup projects with the assistance of the Water Authority to get some more infrastructure in the ground, but really a huge success story of partnership and working with the Water Authority through this transition and with town staff and Water Authority staff to get a lot of infrastructure benefit for the town citizens and businesses through that bond. So a unique situation of straddling. Usually you wouldn't take out a bond and then transfer your water system to someone else, but typically not, but something we did and put us in a really strong financial situation. So that is the high-level financial report for October 31st. Would you want to take action on that now, or would you want me to jump ahead to November?
So we have two of them to approve, right?
Yes, sir.
We'll just do them both at the same time if that's legal.
All right. November is roughly unchanged with the one caveat that our revenues did slow down, which is typically expected in November in anticipation of the first half real estate collection. Well, second half of calendar year, first half of fiscal year real estate collection in December. So while we do see somewhat of a revenue and cash flow slowdown moving into late fall, we have high cash fund balances at that time, and we're sort of we're floating until we get to the collections in the spring. So nothing of concern. Our revenues and expenditures were both at 40% as of the end of November, which is right, in my opinion, right where we would want them to be. Capital fund, we did have some major, as I previously mentioned, major capital fund expenditures that started hitting in November. So we did have to pull in the short term some investment cash from our investments to pull into the operations to pay for those capital projects. Our anticipation is that once we get some grant revenue reimbursements and higher collections in the spring, that we would replace that investment money in the accounts in the coming months. So nothing that I would mark of any concern in that regard, and actually having that investment money puts us in a very strong place that we had the money to move around to begin with. So it kept our capital program going very strong through November and December.
Good. Great. All right. Thank you, sir. We appreciate those reports. So, council, you have, we need to consider the approval of the financial statements for October 31, 2023 and November 30, 2023. Are there any questions, comments? Nope. Hearing none, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, then. Motion by Councilmember Marlin, second by Councilmember McCarty. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. All right. I don't see anything listed for our town attorney, but always good to see you, Jared. Good looking,
Thank you.
good looking tie as always.
Allow me to give you a presentation.
Can you keep it short? Yeah. Well, we know you're involved in a lot of things in town, so it's always good to see you, sir. All right, town manager's report.
I have nothing further to add this evening. I think with the briefings we've provided tonight, I think you've got it all covered.
All right. Well, we've heard a lot of good reports, a lot of things going on in town, that's for sure. So thank you. And with that, we'll move to Council Vice Mayor. You want to make any further comments tonight?
Hey, I just want to say one thing. I do want to thank Lori for the hockey tickets. I do think that's good to be able to get out, get together, go to an event. Of course, naturally loving hockey. But anyway, I do want to thank you for that. And that's all I got, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Thank you, sir. Ma'am, you have anything further?
What a good evening. This room was almost full
Yeah.
at the beginning. That's incredible. I like that. I like when people come. So that was good. And yeah, I'm looking forward to getting together with our group and outside of work things. So that's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Anything further, ma'am?
I just want to say, hats off to a good job for the casino night and appreciation for sponsors at the War Memorial that the Chamber hosted. The venue looked great with all of the casino tables. It was packed. All of the food from the local restaurants was delicious.
Oh.
If you left there hungry, you didn't try everybody's food because it was amazing. The door prizes were good. I know that having tried to get volunteers and door prizes and make sure everything's right. It's not easy to get together an event like that, and I think I personally had a great time. So I hope that's something that continues in the future. But just wanted to say hats off to that committee that made that happen.
Yeah, they did a good job. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
It really was. And Lori, thank you for the tickets. I'm looking forward to this. You've made me a hockey fan.
I'm trying. I work on everybody.
Yeah.
Lori wants everybody to wear their vest. Everybody wear the vest.
Wear a town event vest, right?
Event vest.
Text message, I'll forget.
But I appreciate that very much. I just wanted to mention briefly I think it's LRB Leadership Roanoke Valley group invited Pete and I to their government day. It was a lot of fun, and of course we got to see a lot of our future leaders in the valley. And I tell you what, I come away so encouraged. We got some great young folks coming along, and I just think this valley has a great future, and it was certainly on display that day. It was quite a day. I think that group's called Leadership Roanoke Valley, isn't that right? Yeah. So it's a good group and, very, very encouraging. Also, I wanted to mention the gauntlet kicked off last night at the Vinton War Memorial. And I stopped by there briefly and to welcome them to Vinton. And of course, Marshall was there representing the town, and I tell you what, there again, a lot of energy, a lot of excitement, a lot of folks are really pumped up about their business ideals and everything, and the Gauntlet has helped. Gosh, I don't know how many people, certainly dozens of, maybe even hundreds of people all over the years. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, this is their 10th year. And so they've done a great job. We just want to thank them for the job that they've done over the years. Committees, thank you for all your reports. A lot of exciting things. That's for sure. Anything further to come before our council meeting tonight? Nope. Hearing nothing further, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And I'll second.
All right. We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor signify by leaving.
Tony.
Thank you, folks. God bless you.